It's hard to describe it in only two sentences, but Cyrano de Bergerac, it's a traditional play based on a historical figure. The play was originally written in the early 1900s by Edmond Rostand, who was a French playwright, and but the character himself lived in the 1500s, so it's set in that time. I think we are still setting it in that time. There's been multiple translations, and Jeff is writing a brand new adaptation of it. And it's known in popular culture as Cyrano. He's this very intelligent swordsman, poet, who's in love with his cousin Roxane, who's beautiful and witty, but she's in love with a very nice but not so smart soldier named Christian. And Cyrano will never tell Roxane how he feels because he has this large nose, and he feels that no matter how smart he is, how intelligent, she'll never love him. But he loves her so much, or she in this case, loves her so much that she will help Christian woo Roxane. And so it's a comedy, but it's also a tragedy because it's funny to watch Cyrano help teach Christian how to woo Roxane, and he eventually does, and they get married, but it ends tragically, and I guess you'll just have to see the play to find out how it ends.
Having a woman in the lead for Cyrano, the extra themes that come along are sexuality, obviously, and gender at the get-go, but also this very interesting level of hiding yourself. It's even more hiding yourself because Cyrano is using Christian, who is still played by a man, to woo Roxane, who is still played by a woman. And so it's I feel, a more interesting love triangle. But it's also this interesting concept that Cyrano is using a shell of Christian, not just for his attractiveness, but for his gender. And then that still isn't satisfying Cyrano's needs because it's not telling her the full story of what Roxane needs to love her, because that's only telling her that, well, he's attractive, so that's good. But he's still not the right gender. And so she's not getting the right answer that she needs. And it's only when you use your own voice to speak your own truth that you're going to get the answers that you need. And that's a big portion of the show. We also explore, Cyrano is the only woman in the military in the show. And so we explore the idea of her not being promoted to the level that she should be. If she's the best swordsman in all of France and, this brave soul, why isn't she higher up in the chain? We still have Captain Carbon who calls the shots. So it's interesting to see that, and there are some people in the show that just disregard her completely because she's a woman. And so we're hoping to find all of those different areas within the show to make everybody multifaceted, that not everybody just disregards her. She has male friends in the show, and she has female friends, and she has female enemies, and she has male enemies. That her gender colors everybody's opinion about her, and it also colors her opinion about everybody else because she's had to work so hard and she's had to give up a lot of who she is to get into the position that she's in, which is not as high as it should be, but that's where she wants to be. She wishes she could be higher, of course, but she doesn't want to be a member of the court or anything like that. She's a soldier and she's a poet and she's a lover and she knows who she is. And so we explore this idea of her knowing who she is, but deep down, she's not entirely comfortable with who that is. Some of the bravest people we know in our daily lives are very insecure about themselves. They're willing to go to war for a friend, but won't raise a sword for themselves.
It does change the dynamic. Obviously, when you're gender bending it now, you're looking at, in a more modern context, lesbian relationships. Whereas before, it's a very straightforward man, woman, boy meets girl, girl falls in love with girl. Girl falls in love with boy. So yeah, you're taking on a whole different mantle when you're turning it into a woman. And there are certain lines of dialogue that definitely address that. Because before, Cyrano's only barrier is his nose, in his mind. And in this time, it's also the nose. It's also, okay, I'm a female. I'm a female at this time. It's adding a lot more layers to the conflict, to the struggles of Cyrano in this period of time, and making it, in a way, relevant.
Cyrano has a unique amount of depth for a classical character, which is not to say that other classical characters do not have depth, but I think you really get to see it explored to its full in this show, because Cyrano is someone who feels things very deeply, and to have that become expressed on stage, it can be a little bit like watching a tennis match, because she is bouncing back and forth between moments of seriousness, moments of delight and joy, and every emotion in between. And she does this because, as a defense mechanism, she's found humor to be a safe place for her to delve into, because even when she's hurting, even when she's absolutely destroyed by whatever situation she's encountered, she has the wherewithal to check herself and to consider her surroundings and the people she's with, and to form that emotional response into something that keeps her protected. She has a lot of walls up, and so you have those situations where you can tell she's put on a front, and then you give her a moment alone and she launches into a beautiful soliloquy about how much she adores Roxane, or how she wishes things could be different. Not that she wishes to be a man or to not be in love with Roxane, but simply that she would be allowed to be herself and to have what she desires most in all the world.
Alchemy is on Facebook and we're on Instagram. We also have our website, so you can always go there, check out when the auditions are coming or new shows. We're going to have tickets up for Romeo and Juliet and Cyrano, obviously, so you can get your tickets there. But follow us on Facebook. We have pictures from the cast, the rehearsals, everything. You can join our mailing list. You can just go on the website and go to our Contact Us and say, I'd like to join the mailing list. You can always go and contact us on the site and volunteer your services, whether you want to be a director, you want to be a designer, you want to be an usher, or you just want to find out ways that you can help support Alchemy. We're always happy to have more people around and join us. So Facebook, Instagram, and the website are the best ways to contact us.